Do you believe your health is improving with healthy eating no matter what? But there are a couple of problems associated with this whole idea of healthy eating which no one is talking about. And I'm going to touch upon that in today's video so that you don't fall into that pitfall while you work towards improving your health. Now, a couple of days back, one of my friend whom I'm coaching for her healthy eating and weight loss, so she called upon me and she said that I'm almost giving up uh, on my whole thing, on my whole journey about the staying healthy and losing weight because I have been into this healthy eating for a long time and it just doesn't seem to work. This is exactly what she told me, right? And she is also a busy working professional and she's really finding very difficult, and she thinks that she has been following this for a long time and nothing is working for her. She's not able to reduce weight and she feels that she's having the same kind of health condition. Now, how could this happen, right? So I asked her this question. The first question that I asked her is, what do you mean by healthy eating? And she said that you know what, I have changed my whole eating habits. I have moved to mostly healthy eating habits, like I mostly cook at home now, which is very good. And she is mostly eating home food rather than ordering from Swiggy or going to restaurant and all that. And she said that she has almost reduced most of the processed foods. She tries to eat as much as whole foods as possible, and she tries to Google some healthy recipes in the internet, and she follows them and all that. So she said, I've been following all these things, which is a lot of shift from what I have been earlier, but still nothing seems to work. Awesome, very good. And then she said that since, like you said, that I have to kind of reduce my sugar intake, but you know I have a sweet tooth and I have no way to kind of completely get away with that. So what I do is I regularly make this sweet pongal, which is made of jaggery, and jaggery is not processed. It's very good. It's good in iron content and all that. So I regularly make this sweet pongal, which is also satisfying my sweet tooth, but it's also a very healthy option. That's what I saw on the internet. And I asked her, okay, that sounds very interesting. So what all do you add along with when you do the sweet pongal? She said, my mom always says that we should not cut on ghee, which is a very good source of fat. So we add at least 100 or 150 grams of ghee every time we make that. And you said nuts, so very good. So I fry some cashews and dry fruits in ghee, and then I add it as toppings, and we eat that. And also my mom regularly makes this vadai because it's a good source of urad dal, which is very good for women. It seems my mom keeps saying that, and that's a really a healthy option, she says. So we regularly have this kind of food. Now the way she said how they make the sweet pongal with all that ghee and that cashew toppings and all that, it's really like lip smacking, right? And it's no doubt it is a nutritious and a healthy option, right? So who would here say that jaggery is not healthy, right? It is not processed, and it's a natural source that is coming in, right? So the question that I want to ask to you is that do you think in this current situation, for the example that I gave, do you think jaggery is a healthy option, or do you think it's not a healthy option? Right, I just want to kind of know what you think about that. Just write in the comments below, and also just like to understand what is the thought behind that, right? And if you ask me in particular what I say about this jaggery, in fact, this is one question that I would say there is no particular answer to it, right? Really, there is no particular answer as such. It could be a healthy one, or it could be a not healthy one, or it could be both healthy and unhealthy, or it could be none, depending upon a variety of other reasons. Now, there are three reasons that we have, there are three problems as such, right, that we have to kind of shed light upon while we talk about this, whether this is healthy or this is unhealthy, right? And let's see what are those three problems and how it is helping us, right? So the first problem is there is no clear definition of what is healthy eating, right? So if you just see, for example, someone who is following a strict vegetarian or a vegetarian diet versus somebody who is a hardcore non-vegetarian following a keto diet, a healthy eating, both of them feel that whatever they eat is a healthy option, and it perfectly works for both of them for whatever goals they have, whether it's pure vegetarian or it is non-vegetarian. Similarly, if you if you look for a pregnant woman or a busy CEO or a teenager who is like around 20 or 25 years old, what is healthy eating is entirely different for all these different categories of people. And even though the healthy eating option for each one of them works for their respective goals, right? The healthy eating or the type of foods and what is meant by healthy eating may be different for a 60-year-old woman versus a 20-year-old guy, right? So but both of them are looking for healthy eating. So when you go to the internet and when you just search about what is healthy eating, the funny thing is healthy for whom and healthy with respect to what, right? So that is the number one problem. People search about healthy eating, but it's not very clear from the internet for whom it is healthy, because the same 20-year-old guy is also using the same search engine, and it is also being used by a 40-year-old or a 60-year-old person, right? So that is the number one problem. The second thing is the idea of healthy eating seems to have got a lot of high valuable marketing strategy these days, right? So these days we see a lot of food labels which show that it is a very healthy option, and it gets a lot of attention. And not only food labels, these food companies, they rope in a lot of very fit athletes and sports persons or cine actors, and they kind of advocate this idea of this particular chips or cookies or whatever it is a very healthy option. Recently, like I don't know how I could control my laughter when I saw Virat Kohli coming in for the ad of wafer chips or something of that sort, right? It's he says it's a baked one and it's a very healthy one, and he kind of eats it as if like he eats them every day. But I can very well say with 200% confidence that Virat Kohli will never eat such kind of food at all, right? In fact, I've read that he eats sweet only once in a year, right? So that is the level of dedication that he has towards taking care of his fitness and his overall health, right? But we get fooled by seeing these kind of food labels or by seeing these kind of fit sports personals who are coming and saying that they eat this and it's really very healthy option. And there are these foods that when we go out to in some malls or in any other supermarkets, we can see these labels like zero trans fat, and when we see that, then what I think is, since I always think about healthy eating, and I know that zero trans fat is good for health, so what I try to do is I connect this zero trans fat with my idea of healthy eating. And because I always keep thinking about healthy eating, I think that this zero trans fat is a healthy option. I try to connect them, but what I don't realize that is there are a lot of other unhealthy items that may be coming along with that in that particular product, right? So because whenever I see this label as something as healthy or zero trans fat or something, I internally connect in my mind that it is a healthy option. It gives a chance for the food companies to add and sneak in a lot of other items which I may not desire or need at the moment, and over a longer period of time these may be detrimental to my health as well, right? So This is the problem. And the other problem is I've seen people like when we say, for example, someone buying a healthy ice cream, right? It's healthy because it's low in fat, that's what the label says, or it's made of brown sugar or something, which is a healthy option. So what we do is we tend to eat 3 times more ice cream because we have kind of internalized that's a very healthy option, so I can eat more. So if it had been an unhealthy ice cream, then probably I would have stopped eating just 1 or 2 spoons of that ice cream because I know it's unhealthy for me. But because I have read that it is a very healthy option, I eat a bucket load of ice creams until I get completely exploded. Now, because it's a healthy ice cream, probably it may not do that bad, even if I eat a bucket of ice cream. But still, you need to watch out for the attitude or the behavior that you are kind of developing. And this is what is a very destructive thing, right? We kind of try to eat more, which is again a sign of overeating, or it might lead to binge eating and all that, because of this attitude and behavior towards healthy eating or towards these kind of healthy foods. So that is problem 2. Now, the final thing is there are a lot of people who I see are very much obsessed with the idea of healthy eating, and that is this clinical phenomena called as anorexia, where somebody who is very much into thinking about this healthy eating, and they give a lot of priority to that at the expense of or at the cost of decreasing their lifestyle, or at the cost of increasing the stress levels, because they are like so much into looking for healthy options. They get stressed out, they get angry at things when they see somebody is not eating healthy, or when they see somebody is kind of not producing healthy foods, for example, right? So, or if at home, if the wife or the spouse is not cooking healthy food options, so they just enter into a quarrel. So it creates a lot of stress, so it costs their what I would say is lifestyle, and it also comes at the expense of their relationships with the people whom they have at home or at other places. Now, this is really a concerning thing that we need to pay attention to, because if you look at the big picture as a life, if you are kind of getting into healthy eating at the cost of your lifestyle, at the cost of relationships and other social conditions, or at the cost of increasing stress, is it a healthy option or is it an unhealthy option? Right? What do you say? Is it healthy or is it an unhealthy option if you look at the big picture of the life? So what I want to know from all this is actually a perspective of the problem, right? And the solution doesn't come just for someone who keeps on talking or communicating about the healthy eating, right? The solution will come only for somebody who is ready to listen to, and he is able to receive the communication, right? So what basically this means is the solution could come from each one of us, because the whole food industry keeps talking about healthy eating and healthy eating habits and so on, but it has to come from us, and it is for us to decide what matches with our definition of healthy eating and for our definition of proper relationships and our healthy life overall, right? For example, if I look at healthy eating ideas, I ask a couple of questions at first to me, and one of them is what does healthy eating really mean to me, right? So that's what is the first question that I ask. And the funny thing is there is no real definition, as I said, right? So of what healthy eating is. And if you just Google around and say, one of the definitions says that healthy means the absence of a disease or injury. Now, if that is correct in a way, but it is most from a physiological or from biological point of view. It may be good for your body that you don't have any injury or diseases and all that, but when you look at other aspects, as I said, the big picture, then we are losing out on the other aspects. So the way I tend to look at is from a biopsychosocial model, that is alignment with your core values. So this is the first question. And when you look at cutting down the jaggery, what we need to do is, if I'm removing this sugar, it will most likely help in my physical or biological health of the body. There's no doubt about it. But because you're removing some of your favorite foods or removing some ingredients from your list of foods, it might increase your stress, right? And you may not be, it might increase your stress because you're not able to share your food. Everyone in your home is probably eating that nice sweet pongal, but you're not able to share with them, or you get irritated because they prepare that food that you're not able to have and all that, right? So the question comes, what does healthy eating mean to you at the moment? So if you're already going through a lot of stress in your life, and if you have restricted a lot of other foods, and if there is another favorite food that is again getting on the list of your foods that you're restricting, which will increase your stress level, then probably at the moment it may not be a healthy decision for you, considering the whole panorama of healthy eating, and what is your current definition of what healthy eating means to you when you look at the big picture of your life. Now, what we need to do is we need to revisit after some time, how is this healthy eating working for you? That is the next question to ask. So first question is whether the healthy eating is addressing your biopsychosocial model, right? So biological, your psychological, and your social connections. So that is the biopsychosocial model. And then it has to connect with your semiotics, which is the core values what you have, right? If your core value is not aligned with healthy eating, and you try to kind of keep saying that I want to eat healthy, then you will always prioritize something else, and you will not be able to stick to healthy eating. So it has to finally align with your core values. So that's the first question to ask and see. And the second thing, or the final question to ask, is how is it working for you, right? So now, because you have taken this decision that you will not cut jaggery, because now you are getting the clarity that it may be not good for your psychological health because it might increase your stress. So that's why you decided that you don't want to cut out jaggery. After a couple of months, after 2 or 3 months, you need to revisit asking how is this working for you. Now, if your body has probably undergone some kind of injury, or some kind of inflammation, or your weight has increased, right? So then you need to kind of revisit whether the option that you thought healthier at that time, is it really working for you, or should you really consider taking some other step right now? Then you ask more intricate questions of healthy eating, like what do I eat or what do I don't eat? Are there any foods that I need to restrict, right? So those are the next level of questions. So there are 4 questions in fact, right? So the one is like, what do I eat or what do I don't eat? That is related to restrictions. And the next question could be, when do I eat or when do I don't eat, right? Do I eat only when I feel hungry, or I just eat for the pleasure of eating, or do I follow some kind of fasting cycle like intermittent fasting, or some kind of fasting cycle to decide when I should eat and when I should not eat? And how much do you eat or how much don't you eat, right? So do you eat until you're full till the neck, and then you're not able to see even your bend and see your leg, or do you kind of eat till 80% full and things like that? And lastly, how rigid are you with following these principles, right? So these are the more intricate questions that you can ask after finishing asking the question of whether it's a biopsychosocial model aligning with your core values, and how is that model working for you. Now, any answer to these questions may be fine, as long as you are clear with your definition of what healthy eating means and how it is working for you, and whether it is taking you towards reaching your goal or not, right? So if it is not helping you to reach your goals or kind of make progress towards that, then you need to keep asking this question again, what should I do to do next, right? And whether I could go and change that option or not, and you have to keep trying it, right? But go through these questions, and that is how you can kind of have a complete kind of understanding of what this healthy eating option is for you. I mean, is how it is helping for you. Now, I want to end this video asking this question to you: what is your definition of healthy eating, and how is that working for you, right? Are you looking at changing something that you have started a couple of months back, and is it working for you or it is not working for you, right? So just write it down in the comments. I would love to read through them, and I'm kind of curious to know how it is going for you people. And in case if you are looking for some help, I will read through all the comments and I can even give you suggestions on what you can do about that, right? So I'll be looking forward for those comments on how is healthy eating working for you, and mainly what is your definition of healthy eating, by the way, right? Whatever I knew I kind of shared with you, but I'm very much interested to kind of hear from each one of you. So go ahead and write down your comments.